Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I'm Sumit Bansal, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to delete blank rows from your dataset in Excel. So let's get started. Here I have this dataset where I have these blank rows that I want to delete. Now if you have a small dataset like this one, you can actually do this manually. But what if you have a large dataset, and when doing this manually is going to be very time consuming and error prone? In those situations you can use the methods I cover here. Now the first method that I want to show you is by using GoToSpecial. It works well, but there is a drawback to this method. So let me first show you how it works and then I'll tell you why this is not the best way to do it. So here I'm going to first select this entire data set, including the blank rows that I want to remove. Then I'm going to go to the Home tab here and then click on Find and Select. And here I'm going to click on GoToSpecial. So when I do that, it opens the GoToSpecial dialog box. You can also use a keyboard shortcut where you first select the data, then hit the F5 key on your keyboard. And when you do that, it opens the GoTo dialog box. And here you can click on the Special button. Now in the GoToSpecial dialog box, I'm going to click on the blanks option. So when I select this option and I click OK, you'll see that instantly it selects all the blank cells in my data set, including the entire row. So because this entire row is blank, all the cells in this row has been selected. Now I can come to any of these selected cells, right click, go to delete, and here click on entire row and then click OK. And as soon as I do this, it is going to remove the entire row and I would only be left with this data set. Now I said that this is not the best way to do this because there is something you need to be very careful about. Let's say your dataset has these blank rows, but it also has a couple of blank cells. Now if that is the case, then you should not be using this method because in that case it is also going to select these blank cells. Let me show you. I would select this entire dataset, I would press the F5 key, and here when I click on Special and then click on blanks and select OK, it is going to select the entire blank row, but at the same time it has also selected this cell and this cell and this cell here, which are blank cells in an otherwise non-empty row. So now if I right click and then go to delete and then delete the entire row, it is also going to delete the rows where it has selected those blank cells where the row is not completely empty. See what happens when I click OK? All those extra records where only one cell was blank has now been deleted. So this is not the best way in case you can have a data set where there could be blank cells. Now, if you're downloading your data set from, let's say, a database or from the web, and you are absolutely sure that only those cells would be blank that are in the completely blank row, then you can use this method. But let me show you 3 other methods that are actually better than this one. Here again, I have the same data set. And in this case, I'm going to insert a helper column and use a formula to identify only those rows that are completely blank. And once I have that through the formula, I'm going to sort my data set and delete all the blank rows in one go. Let me show you how it works. I would come here to this column label. I would right click, then click on insert. So this inserts a blank column here. Now I'm going to use a formula, and my formula is going to be if count A. Now count A function counts all the non-empty cells in your in the row or in the selected range. In this case, my range would be B1 to G1. In case you have a bigger data set, make sure that you select all the cells in the data set. And here I would say if this is equal to 0, then give me the text blank, else give me the text not blank. And now when I hit enter, it gives me not blank here because these cells are filled. And now when I copy this down, you'll see that it gives me blank for only those rows where all the cells are blank. If I come here and I delete this, it would still give me not blank because the other cells are still filled. Let me press Ctrl Z. Now what I'm going to do is sort this data so that all these blank rows are at the top. So I'm going to select this entire data set. Then I'm going to go to the data tab here and then click on the sort icon. And when I do that, it opens the sort dialog box. Now here, I need to make sure that this option, my data has headers, is unchecked. There is a possibility that in your system, this may be checked by default. So make sure that this is unchecked because not all of my columns have headers. The helper column that I inserted does not have a header. So I want to make sure that this is unchecked. Then I need to sort this data based on the column, which would be column A because I want to sort based on the helper column. And here now when I click OK, you can see all the blank cells are now stacked at the top. I can come here, select them, right click and then delete them in one go. And once I'm done, I can also delete the helper column, or if you want, you can hide it. Now this method works really well, and it is also not going to change your original data set. You can see originally this was the sequence of my data set and it would remain intact. It only makes sure that all the blank cells are at the top and only those are removed. So this is a foolproof way to do it, and it is only going to remove completely blank rows. It is not going to remove those rows that have a couple of empty cells. Another similar way to delete blank rows is by using the find and replace functionality. So I have the same data set here and I want to remove all these blank rows, and I'm going to insert the same helper column, use the same formula, and then I will use find and replace to find blank rows and delete them. So let me show you how it works. I would come here, I would select this column label, right click and then click on insert. So this inserts this helper column where I'm going to use the same formula, which is if count A, this range is equal to 0, then give me blank, else give me not. Now when I hit enter, it gives me not blank here because this row is not blank. And now when I drag this down, it gives me blank for every row that is blank. Now I do not need to select the entire data set. I only need this selected. And with this, I'm going to go to the home tab, and here in find and select, I'm going to click on find option. And when I do that, it is going to open this find and replace dialog box. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Control F. So you hold the Control key and then press the F key, and it is also going to open the same find and replace dialog box. Now within the find tab, I'm going to enter find what value, which is going to be blank. Now what I'm asking this to do is find all the cells that contain the text blank. But as of now, all these cells have the text blank. Some just have the text blank, but some would have not blank, which still has this text in it. So what I'm going to do is select this option which says match entire cell contents. So not blank is not going to be considered. Only those cells where the entire content is blank, the text blank, is going to be considered. And here in look in drop down, I'm going to select values because I'm not looking within formulas. I'm rather looking in the values that I got from the formula. And now when I click find all, see what happens. It is going to find all these cells where the value in the cell, the text in the cell is blank. So it has given me A5, A9 and A12, which are these 3 cells. Now with this selected, I'm going to hold the control key and press the A key because as of now only this cell is selected. I want to select all these cells where the text is blank. So I'm going to hold the control key and press the A key and see what happens. As soon as I do this, all these cells that have been found are now selected. Now you can drag this to the right if you want, or you can close this. Now come here and in any of these selected cells, right click, then click on delete, and then in the delete dialog box, click on entire row and then click OK. And as soon as you do that, all those cells where the text was blank, the entire row has been deleted, and I'm left with the original data set here. Now I can come here, I can delete the helper column, and I have my data set where the blank rows have been removed. And finally, let me show you a simple VBA code that can quickly delete all the blank rows in our data set. So here I have the same data set and I have the code here in a notepad file. So I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to use it. I'm also going to have this code in the description of this video so you can copy this and use it in your file. Now to use this code, I'm going to first select this entire data set, and this is very important because this code will only work on the selection. So make sure that the data set is selected. Now I'm going to go to the developer tab in the ribbon and then click on Visual Basic. And when I do that, it opens the VB editor here. You can also do the same thing by using the keyboard shortcut Alt F11. So you hold the Alt key and then press the F11 key. And when you do that, it again opens the same VB editor. Now here I'm going to insert a new module, and in that module I'm going to copy and paste the code. So I'm going to go to the insert option here, then click on module, and in this module which has been inserted, this is the code window where I'm going to paste the code. Now let me quickly explain what this code does. So this code actually uses a very simple for next loop where it first counts the total number of rows in this selection, and then it starts from the last row onwards and it checks whether this row is completely blank or not. And it is done using the same CountA function that I showed you in some of the previous methods. But in this case, the CountA function is used within the VBA code. So it is going to check whether this row is completely empty or not. In case it is empty, this is going to be deleted. If it is not empty, then it is going to move to the row above it and then do the same check. Now, the reason we are going from the bottom to up and not the other way around is because if you go from the top and you come down, and if let's say this row, which is row number 5 is blank and it is deleted, then this row would become row number 5. So the numbering would go wrong. This is the reason we start from the bottom and then we go up. Now see what happens. I select this entire data set. I go back to the VB editor and here I'm going to run this code. So let me bring this here so that you can see side by side what happens. To run this code, you place the cursor anywhere in the VBA code and then you can click on this run subroutine or user form icon in the toolbar, or you can use the keyboard shortcut F5. So let me press this and see what happens. As of now, I have these blank rows. As soon as I click on this, all these blank rows are instantly deleted and I'm left with the remaining data set. So this is a really fast way to do this. If you have to do this quite often, then you can keep this code in this workbook and save this workbook as a macro enabled file. So a couple of things I should mention is if you want to keep this code in the workbook and use it again and again, you need to save this code as a macro enabled file. So when you're saving this file, make sure that the extension is .xlsm and not .xlsx. The other thing is, if you want to use this code in all your Excel workbooks on your system, then you should save this code in your personal macro workbook. Now I have created another video about personal macro workbook and how to activate it and how to save code in it. So I would link to it in the description and I would also have a link somewhere on the screen. So you can watch that video about personal macro workbook so that this code would be available in all the workbooks in your system. And with this, you can instantly, with just one single click, run the code and delete all the blank rows. So this is better if you want to do this quite often, because this could be faster with just one-time setup. But if you want to do this only once in a while, then you can use any of the other methods such as the sort method, the find and replace, or the go to special method. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.